Hi, my name is Mark Lloyd. I'm co-founder of Property Master Academy and I've been a property investor since 2005. In this short video, I'm going to uncover some of the pitfalls of investing in HMOs because there are traps that will ensnare the unwary into HMO poverty. So what is an HMO? Well, HMO stands for Houses in Multiple Occupation. It's where you have a house that you rent by the room, and student accommodation would be a very good example of that. HMOs are a popular strategy as they offer high cash flow and it sounds like easy money, but there's plenty to trap you. Now before I go on, please hit the bell icon and like the video as it helps us out on YouTube. We publish new content each and every week and it's all dedicated to helping you become more successful in property. So here we go. Pitfall number 1. Understand who your tenant market is. For example, blue collar workers, and what the demand is for that type of tenant where you are looking to buy. What most investors do is assume full occupancy all the time, when in reality that's virtually impossible. So checking tenant demand is of paramount importance. You've got to fully test that yourself and not take anyone's word for it. So how do you do that? Well, if you're picking a town to invest in for HMOs, then actually go there and try to rent a room in that town for yourself. Go on to Spare Room, as this is the most popular site for room renting, and then see if you can rent a room. Now this will give you a great insight also into your competition. But also, Spare Room is a great tool for initially assessing an area because you can look for how many rooms are available versus how many people are looking. And if that ratio is 2 to 1, that's potentially a really good area. So now you need to look for how long rooms are on the market. Now if you see a room advertised this week, go back and have a look in 2 weeks' time. Is it still on Spare Room? As that will give you a pretty strong indicator of demand for these rooms. I would also suggest that it's worth running a dummy advert. Now, word of caution here, you need to be really careful as Spare Room do not like it. But take good quality photos of one of your own bedrooms if you can. Never copy anything that's already on Spare Room. So why would you want to do all this? Well, because not every area in the UK is great for HMOs. In fact, in some areas, there's actually an oversupply of HMOs. So your initial due diligence is key to not buying in a rubbish area. Pitfall number 2 is about licensing. Does it need a license? Is there additional licensing or supplementary licensing? Does it need planning? Is there Article 4? Now, whilst there are national guidelines, a local authority can override all these. In fact, I did a separate video on all these things last week, so check out our channel for more details. Pitfall number 3, relying on a general letting agent to manage your property. Now don't get me wrong, there are some really good agents out there, but if you're going to use one, then make sure it's an HMO specialist agency, because HMOs have more rules and regulations than standard buy-to-let, so it works best if the agency specialises in that area. But you still need to bear in mind that they will have several landlords that need tenants. So how do they prioritise? Well, it's a well-known fact that an agent will rarely be able to keep your property full of tenants as good as you can. Pitfall number 4, underestimating the fixed costs of your overheads. So understanding the maths, in other words. Now most small HMOs don't really work that well. Why? Because of the fixed costs you have: mortgage, insurance, utilities, council tax, and agent fees if you're using an agent. But don't forget about one-off costs such as maintenance. As a rule of thumb, 3 to 4 rooms will cover all of your outgoings, with the 4th or 5th room providing your profit. So if you have one void, then you've hardly made any profit. And for that very reason, it makes more sense to only do a minimum of 6 bedrooms. Pitfall number 5, and this is the real shocker. This is potentially going to get more and more serious in the coming years, which is council tax. Now at the moment, for the majority of HMOs, the council tax is paid by the landlord for the property as a whole. In other words, the council tax is no different than if you had a single let property, except there, of course, the tenant pays. Now there's several councils that have started something new, and that is imposing council tax on every single HMO room. They're imposing band A, which is the lowest council tax band. And what they're saying is, if you've got an ensuite in the bedroom or a kitchenette, in other words, making it self-contained like a studio flat, then they're going to charge council tax on each and every room. Now this has a number of issues, particularly if you have an empty room. So make sure you understand what your council is doing. So there you go. 5 pitfalls on HMOs. Now I'm not saying that HMOs don't work. I'm saying don't just follow the hype without checking out the reality for yourself first. And the way to check out the reality is to evaluate the situation on the ground where you're looking to invest in an HMO against the criteria that I've given you in this video. These are paramount, more so for the smaller HMOs, 4 or 5 bedrooms, than the larger ones. With the larger HMOs, you have the economies of scale to deal with all the regulatory compliance issues so that you can actually make some profit. However, the downside, of course, is if you want to have an HMO with more than 6 rooms, then you need to apply for full planning. And that is often where the big hurdle is, because it's quite hard to get planning permission for a larger HMO in some areas. So let me know what you think. Comment below if you agree or disagree. I'm really interested in your views, whether you agree or disagree. Leave them in the comments below. So I hope you found this video useful. And if you have, then please hit that like button as it helps our YouTube algorithms. And if you're not a subscriber, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe and you'll be automatically notified of new videos we upload each and every week, all dedicated to helping you be more successful in your property business. Appearing on your screen shortly will be more videos that will help you in your property journey. Thank you so much for listening.